All right, today's topic might potentially ruffle some feathers, if that's the correct terminology. Before we start, to kind of underline what I want to kind of communicate in this video and in some of the videos that I have done previously, I want to give you two examples / sentences. So the first case, let's imagine you are working on the front lawn of your house. You're making it all pretty. You put a lot of effort and work in to make it look good. You mow your lawn, maybe you paint your fences, and again, the front lawn, not the back one. So the front one that is basically public. And some random person that you never met before, you don't know who that is, comes to you and says like, what the hell are you doing? Your fence looks stupid. Your garden looks stupid. You have no clue how to mow a lawn. Would be pretty rude, right? Would be terrible. And basically no one in the right mind would actually do that. So example one. Next one. It's not really an example, but something that you could maybe imagine. Imagine an overweight person really wants to get in shape, wants to get better at fitness, wants to take care of his or her health and goes to the gym. And then there is a person who says something, oh, you're overweight, you're fat, you cannot run this treadmill, you cannot even lift, get out of this gym. Or you're a person of color like I am, and you want to go into a restaurant, and that person potentially says something along the lines of, oh, you're not white enough, you cannot get in here. No person in the right mind. I think there are persons in these two last examples, they exist, but in a good society, usually no one would actually do this. You would, at least I do, if I see someone who's overweight in the gym, I have so much respect for that person because that person takes an effort to get better in their health. If I have someone in the Muay Thai gym, if that person is new, I'm not going to shit on that person if that person cannot do a high kick. That person just started and wants to become better in Muay Thai or in boxing. If I would go there and be like, oh, you don't know how to box or you don't know how to do a kick, that's stupid. That person just got into the gym. That person wants to learn. No one in the right mind would put those people down or gatekeep. And now you maybe get to a point where I want to go in this video, because I've released two videos. One where I kind of said like, it was like a goldfish in a shark tank, where it was like, oh, I'm a casual gamer. I'm getting in this gaming space, but I do realize that this could be a place where people are very passionate. I didn't even phrase it in a way where, and I believe someone would be offended. I said, hey, you're passionate. You want to kind of defend your thing, but hey, we are in a space, gaming, that is all about fun. So that was the first video. The second video was all about why is this gaming place so toxic, especially when it comes down to, again, something that should be fun. And I had a couple of comments, and also I just noticed, because I don't have the YouTube Studio app on my phone anymore, so I went on my computer here that's on my desk, and I actually, just out of curiosity, went into the held comment section. Usually that is empty, but there are some terrible comments that YouTube actually held back because of the wording, because there were some, how do I say it, inappropriate wordings in those comments, and those were held back. And I feel like those comments, without kind of going into them, because I want to even speak out what has been said in those comments, but they kind of underline what I've been saying in these videos, why does this? Why do some people need to be that toxic? And some of the comments were like, "Oh, that were not held back were something like, "Oh, you're a crybaby. Just get better, get good, or get out. Stop crying because we are pandering to casuals, and this has destroyed the gaming industry." And then there are other comments, not the same one, but other ones. "Oh, gatekeeping or the lack of gatekeeping is what has destroyed the gaming industry." And again, please remember the first comments that, or the first examples that I mentioned. So keep in mind, YouTube basically, when you create a video, it's obviously you kind of paint a target on your back when you create something. But again, I always say, you don't need to like what I do. You don't need to agree with whatever I'm saying. I'm just asking, be respectful. And that's why I brought up the example of the front lawn. So when you are working on your front lawn, on your fence, or whatever it might be, that is kind of facing outward, you do it for yourself, but obviously it's something the public can see. No one in the right mind would go to someone he or she doesn't know and say like, "Oh, your house looks stupid." They would maybe say something along the lines, "Oh, that color of your fence is maybe not my taste." But on the internet, it feels like, okay, this is a public video that you can consume for free, that you consciously clicked on, but you also consciously decide to watch to the end. And again, freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. But going to someone on the internet and being right on the attack, not even again, you can disagree with whatever. You can give me constructive feedback, but just saying, "Oh, you're stupid," I'm paraphrasing here, "get good or get out, stop whining," is very insulting, because you're basically attacking me, you're disrespectful, and then you're not even putting a constructive argument. So I had this back and forth with this one person who was not really going into arguments and not really underlining what he or she wanted to kind of put on the table, but more or less was continuing attacking me. And again, in the real world, we wouldn't do that. We would maybe we would argue, but it would take a longer time than on the internet to get into a verbal altercation, because obviously at some point maybe someone could get physical, and I feel like in the internet it's just like all the respect is going out of the window. Now to the second point, gatekeeping. Again, gaming should be fun, and I feel like it is so crazy, especially when I just look at these comments that have been hidden by the YouTube algorithm. It's really terrible stuff like, "Oh, if you can't handle the game, you basically are..." I'm not even sure if I can say those words on YouTube. I'm actually not sure. Especially I'm in Germany, and the rules obviously are different than in US. So I don't know if I can use these words. And just putting people down, "Oh, you're trash because you cannot game." And again, go to my second example. You would not go to someone in the gym who is not able to lift the same as you do. Yes, there are people, but obviously those people who do that are terrible. Or you wouldn't go to someone who just tries to lose weight, or even in normal cases, when someone comes to my Muay Thai gym, that person obviously cannot fight yet. I wouldn't spar that person, and I wouldn't put that person down if that person cannot do a specific technique. You wouldn't do that. And saying something like, "Oh, you're a casual gamer, you aren't good at gaming, so get out," That's stupid, especially with something that should be fun. Gaming should be fun, right? Yes, if you are like a competitive gamer who earns money, if you're just competitive, why can't we all have fun? If I'm sparring, I'm not doing it competitive. I'm not earning money with that. We're not there to spar, to kill ourselves. We're there to learn. We're there to have fun. And with competitive gaming, it should be the same. Saying something along the lines, oh, we're gatekeeping. You're not good enough, get out. Is basically, in my humble opinion, the same thing like saying, oh, you're not white, get out. Or something like, you're fat, you're obese, get out of the gym. That's stupid. Don't do that. And I really cannot understand this thing, especially since now 6 people have said that gatekeeping, the lack of gatekeeping in gaming or gatekeeping should be a thing because, I quote here, trash gamers, trash players shouldn't be there. Casual gamers shouldn't be there. That's stupid. That's really stupid. And I replied to all of those people. One of them insulted me. The other 2 that have been hidden by the YouTube algorithm, I'm not going to even respond. I'm not going to put them on the how you say it. I'm not going to approve those comments, so because they're terrible. And the other 2, I replied to them, hey, I respect your opinion. Can you elaborate a little bit on why gatekeeping is bad? No, not bad. Why do you think that gatekeeping is needed? And I'm still haven't gotten an answer. And to be fair, I always like to kind of try to see their perspectives. If those people are talking about that the lack of gatekeeping and the flood of casual gamers was the reason, and I'm just trying to kind of understand it. If the flood of casual gamers is the reason, or might be the reason for stuff like loot boxes, pay to win, and lots of ads and stuff like that. Okay, fair enough. That's a point. Yet, why that is, I think that is not on the back of the gamers, who want to get better. It's not on the fault of the casual gamers, in my humble opinion. It's the fault of those studios who make those games, of the higher bosses who just want to make a quick buck and make basically capitalism as much as possible. It's not the fault of the gamers. It's not the fault of those casuals, as those people call them, of those trash gamers. It's not their fault. They want to play games as well. And yes, some of them are just casual gamers. But honestly, let's be real. Every one of those hardcore gamers, you started somewhere. You've not been that great in the beginning. You've been a casual gamer, basically, or a trash gamer in the beginning yourself. And then you have gotten better. Just like in the gym. At first, you didn't know how to lift. You weren't able to run on the treadmill that long. Or when you're doing Muay Thai or boxing like I do, you didn't know how to throw a punch. You didn't know how to high kick and stuff like that. You need to practice. You start small and you learn. And that's why I don't understand this kind of thought process of gatekeeping, of saying, oh, all of the trash players should get out. I just don't get it. And again, kind of see it from those kind of 2 examples that I've been saying. And then when it comes down to commenting, I mean, how would you feel if you cook in your kitchen and someone just looks into the window and says like, oh, what are you cooking? That looks terrible, without even knowing how to cook that meal themselves. And that's basically the thing about these videos. I see so many people complaining about a video, yet they've never done a video before. Or, for example, in the beginning when I started, English is my second language. I was born and raised in Germany. I come from an immigrant family, so my German also wasn't that great when I started. And I see people commenting, "Oh, your accent is terrible." And by the way, those come from German people. I'm sitting there, you can't even speak English. And you don't even make videos. You don't know how it is to speak in front of the camera. Yet you kind of criticize me. And again, you're watching these videos for free. You don't have to stop. Just like in my first example, you don't have to stop by that house you don't like. You don't have to stop by that kitchen that I just mentioned, look into and say like, "Oh, that looks terrible, what you cooked." Yet, and probably you aren't able to cook yourself. And it's the same thing with these videos. I don't see you making videos, or not you, but those people who are commenting sometimes. I don't see them making videos, yet they complain. And they're so fast to put a very disrespectful comment in the comment section, and word it in a very insulting way. And again, and I will say this every single time, you have freedom of speech. You are allowed to your opinion. You can say whatever you want. But the only thing that I ask you is, the only things that I ask you is, be respectful, be constructive at least. If you're not constructive, again, be respectful, be polite. We don't have to agree on anything. But also, if you want me to respect your opinion, and if you want me to listen to what you have to say, be at least have the decency to listen to me, to try to understand my perspective. And if you don't agree, respect that as well. Again, I see it so many times that people comment. For example, this one comment said something. I haven't watched the video yet, but if it's about gaming, I think the lack of gatekeeping is the issue here. And I'm like, okay, respect your opinion. Have you watched the video to the end? Please elaborate on that. Never gotten a reply back from that person. And that's what I mean. Your opinion is totally valid. You have the freedom of speech. But if you want freedom of speech and your opinion to be respected, respect me and listen to what I have to say. And then we can go into the dialogue. But most people don't want that. They just want to shit on you. And that's what's really annoying on the internet, because in real life, you wouldn't do that. And I'm fairly certain, 90% certain, that 9 out of 10 people who comment like that would never dare to say something in real life to a different person. And that really annoys me. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts about this. And I already can see those comments again on this video as well, because yeah, I will obviously title this because this has something to do with gaming, and this is where these comments and these people have come from on my channel, because all of those negative comments that I've just mentioned were all about gaming. So I already know that these people will come to this channel and complain about me whining, but I'm not whining. I'm asking for respect, because basically most of those people commenting are dickheads. And again, kind of consider those examples that I mentioned in the beginning. You wouldn't do that. And why would you do it in the gaming space? I just don't get it. All right, this was my long-winded video about this. If you actually listen to me to the end, maybe comment, comment a joystick emoji or a game controller emoji. I know that exists. So I know you watched until the end. Let me know also, what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comment section below. And maybe check out my video about the toxic gaming space comments that I mentioned previously in the video up here. YouTube thinks that you like the video down here. And don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. That way we see each other in the next video. Thank you very much.